Hello and welcome to Best Picture Brain Rot, a podcast where three friends count down to the 100th Oscars by watching every Best Picture winner in order.
Follow along as we give ourselves cinematic brain damage from the first winner, Wings, to whatever the Academy picks in 2028.
There are 92 weeks until the 100th Oscars, and today we are going to talk about the Great Ziegfeld. Surprises, disappointments, hot takes, and plenty of brain rot await.
We are your hosts, Adam,
Sarah,
And Drew.
This week, Best Picture Brain Rot gets Ziggy with it. With
Nah.
Ziggy Azalea.
Okay. I should have known. This is the maximalist 9th Academy Award winner for Best Picture, The Great Ziegfeld. It's an epic biopic with an almost Baz Luhrmann-esque sense of scale and lack of focus. It tells the story of Florenz Ziegfeld, famed Broadway producer and influential creator of the Ziegfeld Follies, pod famous or infamous for inspiring the storyline of the second Best Picture winner, the Broadway Melody.
Boo!
Ziegfeld produced over 50 stage plays in his career, just enough to have a Best Picture winning movie made about him just 4 years following his death.
It's crazy, actually.
It's a very fascinating moment in time, this movie. Excited to talk about the historical context around it. But before we talk about this is our first ever real biopic that we're doing.
Biopic?
So actually, that was going to be my first question. That was actually going to be my first question.
I know where this
how
is
do
going.
you pronounce biopic? And what is your favorite? I would say both from the perspective of a entertainment biopic, because it's a very specific kind of thing, and like just a general biopic.
I used to be like biopic. I used to think that, and then
Yeah.
somehow it got planted in my head that it's biopic, and I've been saying it ever since. And now
And
everyone
now you look down on anyone who
and
says
now everyone
biopic.
thinks I'm crazy for saying
It's
biopic.
not biopic. That sounds like a surgery. It sounds
It
like
does.
biopsy.
No, look, I know I'm saying for the longest time I was with you guys. Somehow I got convinced to this other side, and now
Yeah.
I feel crazy.
You are. That's wrong.
Yeah, we've been.
I feel a little snooty when I say biopic, which I
It's
think
just
is why
not even
I think
how
that's
it's
why I
pronounced.
don't. That's why I prefer biopic, because biopic sounds snooty.
It's a biopic.
Okay.
What's the difference? Bio. What is bio? Bio.
Bio?
It's a bio. It's a bio. Wait, or I guess
No, it's a
biography. Oh wait, fuck.
Exactly.
Fuck.
No,
Exactly.
but it's a biographical picture.
Yeah, biopic.
There it is.
Is it biography or biographic?
It's biographic.
Biographical. I think you are poisoned with this post-internet world where it's all about posting on your bio.
All right, so here's the thing. Big Biopic is funneling a lot of money into my account right now. Tip the scales. We've all been a part of it. We've all fallen under their spell.
I'm gonna keep calling it biopic.
I don't care either way. I just like
Biopic.
what rolls off the tongue now is biopics all of a sudden, which I don't know where it came
See,
from.
hearing you say that sounds wrong.
It's really wrong.
I don't know who put that in my brain, but that's just where I'm at now.
Well, what's your favorite one?
I'm looking right now.
I got one.
You got one?
8 Mile.
Okay.
I'm totally kidding. Actually, you're gonna hate my real answer.
Everybody in the 313.
Okay.
Drew's got the white rap game on lock these last 2 episodes.
Okay.
Wait till you see my Jack Harlow.
You're not gonna like my answer, but I really like The Social Network.
It's a good answer.
No.
Well, I was just gonna say you just wouldn't like it.
I don't
No,
see
that's a good
anything
one.
super wrong with it.
I think
Or
that's a good one. 'Cause-
Hotel Rwanda.
I've never seen Hotel Rwanda.
Oh, is that framed as like a?
Is
a
that Don
biopic?
Cheadle?
I know the story. I didn't.
Or is
know
that the
it was-
one with...
It was him and
It's
the
Don
other
Cheadle.
guy.
It's Don
Yeah.
Cheadle. What's the one with... Oh, the last King of Scotland.
That's Idi
is-
Amin. That's
Idi Amin. That's
yeah.
different. I get those two mixed up. Always. And that's Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, that's Whitaker. Off the top of my head, I can't think of. I'm not gonna lie, like biopics, like they're just not my favorite genre. I think
Yeah.
I love a lot of historical like movies that are based in that, but it's like
Right.
when they're framed specifically, it's just like this is this one guy's life. I
Yeah.
think that's where I get a little bit lost. The only one I can really think of off the top of my head that I genuinely really like that we'll definitely get to is Lawrence of Arabia.
Okay.
That's the only one that like comes to mind where it's like, I don't even think of that necessarily as a biopic.
I wouldn't consider that a biopic.
Yeah. I mean, it
personally.
It is. It's his name, for one, is the title.
Fair, I guess.
And it is basically it. But it's like, I prefer when it is about a, like, truncated part of, or like
well, then you're going to love next week's movie, even though it's a courtroom drama.
Yeah. We'll see.
Adam, what's your favorite?
If we were saying entertainment, my choice would be, I guess, not a real one, but Walk Hard.
What is that?
Oh, it's so funny.
You don't know Dewey Cox?
Yeah, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox
You don't
story.
know the famous musician Dewey Cox?
It's a John C. Reilly movie. It's like, it is making fun of these musical biopics. And it was even before things like Bohemian Rhapsody, before like all of those. It was after Walk the Line, which was probably mostly a reaction to Walk the Line, which I've not seen. I've heard is good. James Mangold is a very good director. But Walk Hard is it's just a satire of the genre in a really, really funny way. And it's the whole like birth to death musician biopic, but it takes itself like obviously not very seriously, but under the veneer of pretending to be serious, even though it's all very ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I think you would actually dig it. It's very, very funny.
You totally, yeah. I just remembered one that we're not going to talk about in the podcast.
Okay.
is I, Tonya, is I think one of my personal favorites.
I like that one too.
That's a solid one. Solid choice. As far as real ones, it's not a biopic, but like Amadeus comes to mind, which is obviously like a fake story about these people.
True, yeah.
But it's still so good. Not my favorite genre overall.
Me neither.
I would say. Also, this podcast is being recorded in a pre-Michael world.
Oh, yeah.
By the time this podcast releases, Michael will be in theaters.
Something?
So we unfortunately cannot comment on the quality of Michael at this time.
Michael's doing a biopic, mama.
Okay.
Different movie.
No one on the podcast said that I was their favorite biopic, mama.
That's not an Elvis impression. That's an Austin Butler impression.
Yeah, I also already did a sneak on Baz Luhrmann's.
Which I was thinking the same thing, so I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, maybe lost the plot just a little bit there. This is...
Mama, we lost the plot, mama.
I'm looking at the man in the mirror.
Michael Jackson thinks he's bigger than me, mama.
Okay.
Ziegfeld thinks he's greater than...
Like I said, I'm going to get this train back on track if it kills me.
Even Prince outlived my Jack.
Anyway, this is a biopic about Florenz Ziegfeld, who we've talked about. Drew, would you like to stop doing Michael Jackson impressions to tell us?
No, I moved on to
Ziegfeld
just doing the Kendrick Lamar like that verse.
Oh, okay.
All right. I want to start by asking a question. Who
Great
is
tradition.
Florenz Ziegfeld? I know you're picturing like those little books that you see in the library, and it's Ziegfeld's face, but it's like really big on a tiny body. You know what I'm talking about? Those books?
I do.
Yeah.
You know, yes. Where it's like, who is Albert Einstein?
Yes.
Picture that with Ziegfeld. Here's a job title you don't see too often. Florenz Ziegfeld was a Broadway impresario.
Oh, I saw that word when I was learning about this. I was like, ooh, that's a fun word.
Yes. An impresario is the title used for someone who organizes and finances a live stage production, be that plays, musicals, opera, ballet. Effectively, it's the producer. Ziegfeld is considered by many to be the most important and influential producer in Broadway history. He is perhaps best known for his Ziegfeld Follies, a sort of extravaganza of a show that he kept in production through most of the 1910s and 20s. These spectacular revues, that's R-E-V-U-E, as we remember from the Broadway Melody, were famed for their beautiful women, talented performers, and inclusion of popular songs at the time. We actually got a peek at what these revue-style shows looked like in a previous Best Picture winner, the aforementioned Broadway Melody.
Ugh.
And let me tell you, that movie did not do these shows justice. Broadway Melody parodies these with the Ziegfeld Follies. But
Now,
I forgot about that.
yeah.
Well, now you get it, Sarah, because I
get
was
it.
trying to explain it during Broadway Melody, and it's like, no, it's like Ziegfeld is this guy Ziegfeld, but now you know.
Oh, God.
retroactively making it so much worse for you.
Yeah, like I didn't think I could hate that movie even more.
But the Ziegfeld Follies were really the creme de la creme of Broadway at the time. Inspired by the Parisian music hall Folies Bergeret, Ziegfeld imported that French-style cabaret theater and cranked it up to an American 11. A symbol of 1920s extravagance, Ziegfeld dominated American theater up until the Great Depression when, shocker, people kind of stopped shelling out money to go see lavish displays of pomp and circumstance. Around this time, Ziegfeld also saw his personal wealth and health take a nosedive. He lost most of his fortune in the Wall Street crash, and he died nearly bankrupt. He had long been suffering from pleurisy and inflammation of the lungs, and he died in 1932. His remains can be found.
No.
I love how you saw that coming. Let him do it.
No.
Cannisco Cemetery at Valhalla. I'm kidding. Anyways, there's a lot about like the actual details of Ziegfeld's life that I'll get into probly as it. I'll pepper it in.
It's all part of the movie. Like this is.
But just if you're sitting at home knowing what's a Ziegfeld, well now you know his place in American history and why he's important.
Thanks, Drew.
And with that, history is history.
Well, thank you, Drew. It's very illuminating on our impresario friend.
He does have a very fascinating life, and there's lots of cool details that this movie does not cover. I will warn you. The movie does not go over any of it.
Yeah, as we go through this, if you could help fill in those gaps since you studied him, that'd be awesome. But before we get into the movie, let's talk about our cast and crew.
Yes. First, I'm going to start off with a little bit of production. So the film pulls heavily from the real world of the Ziegfeld Follies. Many original stage performers actually appear in this film themselves. The scale of the production was pretty absurd. That iconic "A Pretty Girl is Like a Melody" number alone cost $220,000 at the time, which is $5.2 million today. Oh, wow. And featured the massive rotating wedding cake. We'll talk about that. Which had 175 steps, weighed about 100 tons.
Needs more steps.
Costumes were just as over the top. They were designed by a man named Adrian, or Adrian, I don't know. They took 250 workers, 6 months to make, using things like 50 pounds of silver sequins and yards of ostrich feathers. In total, over 1,000 people worked on the film, which ended up being cut into 16 reels. When it came out, The Great Ziegfeld was very big, but it was also one of the defining films of the 1930s and a major point of pride for Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. It was widely seen as the ultimate Hollywood musical biography and set a new standard for scale and extravagance.
This is a very successful movie at the time.
Yes?
Okay. I kind of got the vibe that it was, just to get into context around this. This was a man who was larger than life, who had been such a huge part of the culture in this moment, and he died only 4 years earlier, and I am sure they greenlit this movie pretty much as fast as they could.
Yeah. But yeah, the success of the movie led MGM to revisit the Ziegfeld world later in films like Ziegfeld Girl from 1941 and Ziegfeld Follies from 1946, and it even ties into their later Technicolor remake of Showboat in 1951, another production with Ziegfeld roots. Now let's get into the cast and crew. Okay. There are so many connections to the Wizard of Oz movie. First, we have actor Frank Morgan, who played the wizard in The Wizard of Oz. He was Billings in this film. Then Ray Bolger, who was the Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz, plays himself in the film.
There were a lot of actors who played themselves in this film.
Yeah. Then we have actress Billie Burke, who played Glinda, the Good Witch of the North in The Wizard of Oz. Billie Burke was Ziegfeld's second wife in real life. She wasn't in the movie. She was played by Myrna Loy, but she was a supervisor on the film. The costume designer on the film, Adrian, was also the costume designer on Wizard of Oz. He designed the red ruby slippers. Finally, the director, Robert Z. Leonard, actually started as a silent film actor and even played the Scarecrow in an earlier version of Wizard of Oz.
Wow. I just knew that the guy who played Billings was also the wizard.
Yeah.
Those roots run really deep.
Really deep. Let's talk about the director. Robert Z. Leonard was the definition of a classic studio director at MGM. He was not flashy, but he was very dependable. He specialized in big, glossy musicals and star-packed spectacles, and while critics didn't always see him as an artist, his films almost always made a lot of money. Leonard stayed with MGM and became their go-to guy for keeping massive productions like The Great Ziegfeld running very smoothly. I would just compare him to John M. Chu because John M. Chu did Justin Bieber's Believe.
He also famously directed Step Up 2, The Streets, which I believe was a very well-run set.
Yeah, he just gives me those vibes.
Heard great things about the set culture there.
Well, and Now You See Me, which is all about spectacle.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some.
Did John Chu direct any other movies?
Crazy Rich Asians, right?
Yeah, that's one. I don't think any others. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. The actors. William Powell as Ziegfeld. I didn't like his performance. We'll talk about it. He's from Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, hell yeah.
If anyone's from there. He was known for being
I lived there for 4 years.
Oh, wait, yeah, Adam.
I met my wife there.
Oh, wait, yeah. I know this about you. I know you. I know you and Alexis. Okay. He was known for being a sophisticated, polished leading man. His characters were often witty and worldly, typically playing detectives or social elites. Powell himself was known to be very reserved, even withdrawn, someone who preferred solitude over Hollywood social life. His most famous relationship was with Jean Harlow, and by all accounts, he was very deeply in love with her. He gave her an extravagant sapphire ring, and they were effectively engaged. But then she suddenly died at age 26, and it devastated him. He paid for her funeral, reportedly collapsed afterwards, and then continued to have flowers placed at her grave for years.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
He was known very much at the time before this for being in the highly popular series The Thin Man, where he played a detective. So again, highlighting how much cultural cachet that the Great Ziegfeld had. Someone from a very more, say, popular film series. It would be big Oscar news today that this comedic or more niche genre actor is getting a huge dramatic biopic role such as this. So again, another reason why this was so popular.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's like when Austin Butler did Elvis, no one believed in him.
Yeah.
But I believed in him, Mama.
Especially not Vanessa Hudgens.
She believed in him the most. Are you kidding me? She was with him for 10 years and was like...
I know. Yeah, she probably believed in him a little too much.
A little too much. Anyway. Okay, now we're going to talk about Louise Rayner, who plays Anna Held, Ziegfeld's first wife, French singer. First of all, Louise lived to be 104.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. Louise Rayner was an intensely emotional European-trained actress known for her deeply vulnerable performances. She left Europe as Adolf Hitler rose to power, coming to Hollywood as MGM's next big discovery, and almost immediately didn't fit the mold. She hated Hollywood immediately. She thought everyone was shallow. MGM tried to turn her into this glamorous star, but she refused. She walked around in pants, no makeup, didn't play the game, and rejected the whole movie star persona that they were trying to force on her. Louis B. Mayer, the chief exec of MGM, straight up threatened her career during an argument. He told her, "We made you and we're going to destroy you." Oop. And he kind of did sabotage her career. We'll get into that in a second. But when she won her Oscar, she didn't want it at all.
For this movie.
For this movie.
She won Best Actress
She
for
won
this.
Best Actress for The Great Ziegfeld, but she did not want the Oscar. When she won, she stayed home because she didn't think that she was going to win. She didn't want it. MGM had to send people to her house, dress her, and rush her to the ceremony just in time for her to get her award. Her win for this movie was seen as very controversial because
it's not very good.
Well, yeah, and also because it's for a lead actress, and people were like, "Oh, her role was too small
for sure, for
a
sure."
lead actress." And people also thought that MGM pushed the vote for her, as they kind of did for a lot of people. Apparently, she called the Oscars crazy and said she couldn't stand the whole spectacle. She gave away one of her Oscars. She used one as a doorstop. But then, she becomes a massive star, and then they just start throwing a bunch of crappy scripts and projects at her, just wanting her to do anything and everything, and she didn't want to do any of them. Obviously, she wants better roles for herself. Mm-hmm. So she just got fed up and left Hollywood, and people kind of call her the most extreme case of the Oscar curse.
Huh. Bummer.
Yeah. Now we have Myrna Loy, who plays Billie Burke, Ziegfeld's second wife. Myrna Loy was known for being a very sharp actress. She was sophisticated, witty. She played intelligent women, especially in comedies. She started out the complete opposite. She was typecast in silent films as a dangerous, alluring outsider woman and spent years trying to break out of that image before the film The Thin Man finally transformed her into this new type, which is the perfect wife, which she is kind of portrayed in The Great Ziegfeld as like the perfect wife.
Again, very funny because that is another on-screen pairing of Powell and Loy, the Thin Man, into The Great Ziegfeld.
Yes.
So it's just like, oh, look at these actors we know.
Exactly.
And they're married again. It's the kind of thing that gets audiences clapping like seals in the theater.
Well, yeah, people thought that her and William Powell were like married because their chemistry was so good.
The old, like we said, the old anyone but you.
Oh, God. But yeah, she was at her peak. She was wildly popular. Her face was one of the most requested by women at plastic surgeons in the 1930s. I didn't even know they had plastic surgery back then.
That's disturbing.
She was married 4 times and later admitted she wasn't particularly good at marriage, despite wanting to be.
Aww.
Not all of us
Sad.
can achieve our dreams. Okay. She stepped away from acting during World War II to work with the Red Cross. And lastly, in one of the strangest footnotes of her fame, outlaw and gangster John Dillinger was such a fan that he came out of hiding to watch one of her films and was killed by police immediately after leaving the theater.
Nice.
What is it with these dangerous men loving on our actresses?
They're like a bad boy. I have one more.
I don't think these actresses know these men.
No.
Oh, they do, because I have another thing I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
The last actress I'm going to talk about is Fanny Brice, who plays herself in this film. Fanny Brice was a hugely popular performer known for her mix of broad comedy and singing. She started young, dropping out of school to work in burlesque before being discovered by none other than Florenz Ziegfeld, and became a headline star in the Ziegfeld Follies for decades. Offstage, her life was messy and dramatic. She was first briefly married as a teenager, but her most famous relationship was with gambler and con man Nick Arnstein, who she knew was shady, and she still supported him financially, even visiting him in prison weekly and paying massive legal bills when he was convicted of fraud, before ultimately divorcing him for infidelity. Despite all this, her career never really slowed. Brice was such a defining figure that her life later became the basis for Funny Girl, where she was famously portrayed by Barbra Streisand on Broadway and in the 1968 film.
I was like, oh my God. She looks so much
Like Barbra Streisand.
like Barbra Streisand.
I didn't even know this movie was a thing, and I'm like, this lady looks like
Oh yeah,
Barbra Streisand.
I've seen Funny Girl before, so knowing that was her, I was like, wow, they nailed that casting.
Okay, but that's a wrap on cast and crew.
Okay. So as we covered, The Great Ziegfeld is a movie about the Great Ziegfeld. Is it a great movie? Let's find out.
No.
It starts off, it's not a life to death biopic, but it is the life to death of his career. It's pretty darn close, right? It starts in the Chicago World's Fair of 1893, where Ziegfeld himself is a circus man, hawking a strong man.
So, for a little context, he was born in Chicago, Ziegfeld, and his father ran the Chicago Musical College there.
Oh, so that part in the movie was real.
That part's real. That
Okay.
his father runs the Chicago Musical College.
Well, I thought that was so funny because there is a scene later on where he's talking to his father, and it's unknowingly to me the inverse of that kind of idea where you should be running the family business and working with your hands and doing a good man's work. Instead, you want to go pursue the arts.
They don't really get into this dynamic at all, but Florenz Ziegfeld was sort of like the black sheep among his siblings, where they all sort of followed in his father's footsteps and went more down to like classical music, properly trained, stodgier sort of musical route. Whereas Ziegfeld himself was a little bit more like rough and tumble. He apparently ran away to be a performer with Buffalo Bill in Wyoming, basically like a trick shooter. Like he would work as part of like their more circusy sort of acts. So he was more into that sort of thing. His father, though, basically yanked him back, said, you come back here, and basically forced him onto a desk job for 7 years working for the musical college. And part of that was also they were putting on shows for the Chicago World's Fair. One of them was this show called Trocadero, I guess. And it famously was not getting a lot of like butts in the seats because it was like a little more stuffy, and Americans were really into the whole Buffalo Bill circus sort of act, like really crazy sensationalist sort of thing. That's the push and pull between him and his father. So Sandow is this guy that he basically went out to New York to recruit. He's a strongman in like the old-timey way, where it's like just...
So Sandow was a real
Sandow's a real guy.
Well? Really?
He looks very similar. I can't tell if that's the real Sandow or not.
It is.
Gotcha.
It is?
It is.
There you go.
Wow.
I just said that. I don't know if it's true.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. It is true.
Okay.
I'm just doing psychological warfare now.
Okay.
Me when I spread misinformation on the internet.
No, but that's really awesome information. That would be great because it's great to hear it because it just wasn't in the movie.
Well, yeah, So as I was saying, there's actually an interesting thing that they don't touch upon with the Sandow thing. So his dad is technically part of running this show that Ziegfeld is barking at. You don't seem really involved with this, but in reality, he was involved with it, and he brings Sandow in as sort of like big sexy man that like will get women in the door. But his dad sort of sees this as a little bit like lurid, not exactly his style. So he tries to pair that with like, hey, let's have some more classical elements to it. Like if he's going to be posing, let's keep it more like a Greek statue. Try and class it up a little bit. He was a little against the whole like big strongman half naked on stage.
But again, it's the funny dynamic of like, Father, I'm not going to go into the family business. I want to make smut art for the masses.
Yeah, exactly. He wants to be more of like do stuff more for the common man or whatever. Yeah. Whatever was hot at the time, which was
And as you alluded to in this scene, he is hawking a strongman. He is not getting much traction at the Chicago World's Fair with his act until he decides to sex it up by letting the women touch his slab of meat muscles. Yeah. And that's how he learns that sex sells.
Yeah, well, first of all, 2 minutes into the movie, it's panning through the circus, and it stops on a guy, and he goes, and now the hoochie cooch dance.
Yeah, that's the Little Egypt, his like rival.
Which what the hell is a hoochie cooch dance?
Don't you want to go in the tent to find out?
That's all you gotta say.
And you want a hoochie cooch? I got a hoochie cooch.
Which really doesn't sound very Egyptian at all to me.
No.
It sounds redneck.
Yeah.
Hoochie cooch.
But it's funny because that booth is run by his nemesis, Billings, who will be played by the Wizard of Oz, who will be a recurring character throughout this movie. But he does ultimately win the crowd away again by leaning into the sex appeal of Sandow. This leads into him being very successful with him as a major act. There's some drama on that I'll get to, but first he does have one scene, really only the single scene with his father that we alluded to a little bit. Ultimately, he argues with his dad. His dad says, if you're not going to work for me, you can get out and I'll never see you again. And then 2 minutes later, he's like, I'm just kidding. But that's never explored more. He never sees his dad again after this scene, which is kind of a missed opportunity.
Such a staple of the entertainment biopic is
100%.
Dad I said the dad's abusive.
Yeah, no, but his dad was nice. Dad seemed fine.
He sounds like he was emotionally
He's just
abusive.
a little stodgy.
Maybe.
That's really it.
But they wanted him to be a legitimate artiste.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted Joe Jackson levels of drama with this.
I don't know who that is.
You'll get that soon.
Yeah, you'll get that in a couple weeks when Michael comes out in theaters on April 24th.
Yeah.
Michael's coming out in theaters.
Okay. So after he...
Go away!
Drew, let him talk. Let him talk.
No.
So after the scene with his dad, Ziegfeld has a bit of a montage where he's being very successful with his single act of Sandow, the strongman. He's traveling across the world with him, or at least across the U.S., making money, doing pretty well. Very odd little sequence that highlights how they broke up is they go to San Francisco. San Francisco is trying to steal the thunder of Ziegfeld and Sandow by hosting a fight between a grizzly bear and a lion. As just like entertainment, which is just the 1920s.
That I would go see.
I didn't know what was happening during that
1920s
sequence.
were crazy.
That I would see.
I hated that whole first part of the movie.
That's funny. I thought the first part of the movie was the only part that I liked.
Yeah.
I mean, I hated all of it. The first part was like the most entertaining, but it also just made me so deeply
Well, the first part is the only part that had a story.
Yeah, but I did not want to stay trapped in that circus forever.
So this fight between a lion and a grizzly bear is curtailed by Ziegfeld himself, who alerts the Humane Society that this fight is going to happen.
Oh, really?
That was part of the movie. And then, which is weirder, what he does next is that he stages a fight with the lion and Sandow. But then they drug the lion. So everyone knows that this is a fraudulent experience, and then he has to go on the run from the authorities, and I believe Sandow gets arrested. And Ziegfeld runs away to go to Europe.
I wish Sandow showed up 2 hours later in this movie. Like, in the dark, you just hear...
That's what's missing in this movie. Ziegfeld reckoning with the people he'd wronged from the past.
Exactly.
That's the staple of biopics that we really needed. They didn't know at this point. But he goes to Europe, he's on the cruise, and he runs into his rival Billings, who's going to Europe to find the hottest act to bring her back to the US, which really starts off a string of Ziegfeld just kind of doing this to people, where he specifically steals acts in a very...
He's poaching.
He's poaching, yeah. And the way he goes about it is, I thought was fun.
It's Jerry Maguire.
Yeah. It's it very feels tropey in the way and how they do it, where he's just lying, he's misrepresenting himself, but just being so damn charming that they have.
I didn't find him charming.
I liked Powell in the role.
Okay, let's fight.
I'm very neutral on this.
Yeah. I didn't
You
love
two
him.
can convince me over the course of the podcast whether it was good.
No, why don't you take a stance? Silence is the side of the oppressor.
True. Okay. Silence is violence.
Silence is violence.
Regardless. He makes it to London. He steals the spot of Billings by sending this performer. First of all, he loses $50,000 in Monte Carlo just off the cuff.
Well, okay, so this is something that they don't touch upon nearly enough. Is that so? Obviously, the vice that they touch upon is that he's a womanizer, Ziegfeld.
Right.
He apparently had a really bad gambling problem.
Like he was the original D-Gen?
Yeah, like he was doing Bruno Mars numbers. Like at the casino.
Please.
Apparently that was one of the most well-known things about his personality.
So he was also like Elvis. Mama.
Yeah.
I got a gambling addiction.
Mama, I got a gambling addiction. I need more money, Mama.
Mama, I lost $50,000 in Monte Carlo.
Well, like
Mama.
his second
Wait, that was
wife,
really good, Adam. That was really good.
His second wife, when she was asked, "Oh, how do you feel about Ziegfeld, being a womanizer?" And she said, really, the bigger issue is not his philandering; it was the gambling that she took a bigger issue with. They just use it for this one plot device, and that's really it. Like,
anyway, all that to say, Ziegfeld would have loved Kalshi.
Yeah. He'd be hammering.
He'd be in the sports books for sure.
Yeah.
He would have loved Uncut Gems.
He'd be saying, I bet Calvin Coolidge is gonna say
Harry Truman's gonna drop the bomb today.
Well, he was dead before Harry Truman.
I'm just saying Kalshi in 1945.
Yeah.
They had it. It was just a book. Where were we, Adam?
We were in Europe. Is where we were. After Ziegfeld lost all his money, he goes to London. He essentially seduces a French singer to join his troupe, even though he's got no money to his name, which I thought was crazy that she agreed to this at all, because his pitch was not very compelling.
No.
He was just charming. His pitch was essentially, I will devote everything I have to you because you're the only thing that I have right now.
It's Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
I just watched Jerry Maguire last night.
He keeps talking about it.
It's Jerry Maguire talking to Cuba Gooding Jr.
Don't
You're
spoil
all I
it.
got.
Don't spoil.
Don't
That's
spoil
not
it.
a spoiler.
Yeah.
That's not a spoiler.
You complete me.
Yeah.
Is that what that movie?
You complete me. There's a bunch of. It's
Don't
a lot of
stop.
quotes.
Stop. Everybody
I'm
stop.
not
It's
gonna
a fun
say them.
movie.
That's why.
Everybody stop. Everybody stop.
I recommend you watch Jerry Maguire.
I know. It sounds,
I think you'd like it.
It sounds really fun.
Show me the Quan, Ziegfeld.
So Anna, the woman that Ziegfeld successfully brings into his show, she is the main attraction. He brings her back to New York. Her show is flopping financially, and Ziegfeld owes a lot of money. He then hatches a scheme to get her show some publicity by buying hundreds of gallons of milk.
Oh yeah.
For her. And I thought the scene was pretty funny. She's like, hey man, stop ordering all this milk. I'm going to turn it away. And he's like, no, that's part of the plan. So I'm going to tell everyone you get your skill from bathing in 10 gallons of milk every day.
Yeah, that's why she looks so beautiful. It's like skincare routine or whatever.
And it's like, you don't need the milk. You can just throw it out. It doesn't matter. And he's getting sued because he's not paying for the milk. And the reason it's even getting reported on, he just wanted a headline that says Ziegfeld buying hundreds of gallons of milk to support the star.
He was 100 years ahead of that attention economy.
No, exactly. It was literally clickbait.
Yeah.
He was trying to get clickbait for people to come to the show and then be like, oh, she's very talented as well.
Yeah.
But like,
just let them believe you have a crazy
milk.
writer, and then like they'll
Totally.
be clicking, yeah.
Totally. 1,200 gallons of milk is what it was. Which is, again, I thought that was funny. The show then begets success and they get married, which is a very quick sequence.
There's even a quick little scene with two ladies in the audience, and they're like, I've been bathing in milk just like her.
Yeah. She keeps getting some success. He decides he wants to open the relationship, the professional relationship at this time.
I was like, I don't remember that.
By creating, well, he kind of approaches her in that way,
Yeah.
where he's like, I want to open another show.
He didn't give two flying craps about her. And they had zero chemistry, and she was annoying.
Yeah,
She was grating to me. I couldn't stand it.
I didn't care for her performance. I thought his performance was relatively charming, I think up to a point, but I didn't care for her performance.
Her character was not likable at all. I was not rooting for her character. I was like, go away. I get why Ziegfeld is shooing you away.
It was just grating, like you said. Sorry, Louise Rayner. And anyone who may still be related to you.
Sorry.
But he goes to her, asks to open the relationship professionally by saying, I want to produce a new show. You obviously cannot be in that show because you are in this show. But I have this grand idea. It's the classic biopic thing where he runs into the office. I've got a crazy idea. We're going to call it the Ziegfeld Follies.
Which is the lamest name ever. I'm sorry.
Okay, so, well, they
They
don't touch about this in the movie, but
Drew's going to say that a lot.
Every single time.
But what's her name? The wife.
Yeah.
Anna. So he and Anna went to Paris, and she showed him basically where she got her start.
Okay. Yeah.
At like the cans. And
So you're saying he got the idea from a woman, but the movie didn't give her credit for it.
Yeah. So he basically got his idea from the Folie Bergère in Paris, that like chunk of Paris where the shows are, and the cans, etc. And he basically took that and he just said, what if I could bring this to America? And then he update it, make it for Americans, and do that.
As we did with Japanese game shows.
Yes.
What? I don't know about this.
Well, it's like The Masked Singer.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that
That's
Japanese?
Korean.
That is Korean,
Yeah,
right?
but it's
yes.
like we do it all the time. We just take,
You would be surprised at how many like
he's
popular
taking the UK
American
office
shows
and making the American office.
Yeah, rich history of stealing things from other cultures. That's what it means to be an American.
It genuinely is.
But he pitches the Follies, and they're like, that'll never work. Actually, I don't remember if they said that, but it would probably be pretty accurate if they did.
The scene is so dumb compared to the actual history. Like, they could have had a fun scene where they go to Paris and like he sees it and gets inspired, but instead it's just this dumb thing. It's like, I just had a crazy idea.
Totally. And then they show the actual Follies. It is the scene that you mentioned, Sarah. What was it called?
What?
The wedding cake scene.
The wedding cake scene.
Something girl? Pretty girl?
A pretty girl is like a melody.
A pretty girl is like a melody. And it's one of those very of this time where they're showing the stage play happening on stage and the people performing it. I thought the scene was actually sick.
The scene is awesome.
It was magnificent.
It was really, really cool. Some would say it was kind of the peak of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
It totally was.
I was hooked.
I took a bunch of pictures on my phone, like as if I couldn't find it ever again. I was like, I need to take pictures of this.
Yeah, no, and it's this spinning set. It's very like long, kind of one-shot tracking as it goes up the steps.
And they have other little acts before then too. Like at the top of this big scene, to be completely honest, they show a minstrel show at the top.
Oh, I forgot to mention that. That actually was really, that was a jump scare.
There's actually some interesting stuff there. If you don't know what a minstrel show is it is basically like an old vaudevillian sort of act. It was actors in blackface performing songs that, and basically in a cartoonish way, like parodying, or I don't know what the proper word is here, just doing a racist caricature of black people and often singing songs. However, obviously you see this and you sort of like grimace when you see it in the movie. They don't directly say this, but it's quite likely that that particular performer is the performer Burt Williams.
Okay.
Who was actually a Bahamian-born entertainer. He was a light-skinned actor who had to still darken his face just to like give people what they expected in these sort of acts.
To make it look actually cartoonish, as it does in those types of shows.
Yes. In this particular scene, they are using a white actor, just judging by looking at him. Yeah. But historically, this would have probably been Burt Williams, who was a actor that Ziegfeld hired initially to be actually
he was his minstrel guy.
Well, yeah, he hired him to be part of the variety show and actually wanted him in the show. However, a lot of the other actors objected to a person of color being in the show with them. And so then he was relegated to being the opener, as we see in the movie here. But then eventually he was integrated back into the show because he became sort of part of the family, and like people sort of like eventually
they saw the error of their ways.
Yeah. I mean, like that's at least the story around Burt Williams. He's a pretty interesting performer. That like, you look at that and you immediately think this is a white guy doing blackface, but historically that would probably be he was the minstrel show guy that Ziegfeld specifically used.
Interesting. But yeah, this is the part of the movie where it really takes a turn. I would say I generally enjoyed the first act of the movie. I will disagree with Sarah. I thought Powell didn't blow my mind or anything, but I thought he was like perfectly charming and charismatic.
I thought he was enough of a vessel.
Huh?
I thought he was enough of a vessel.
Yeah, he's definitely somewhat of a vessel, but
no, I thought
like
it was
in a bad way. I'm saying it was like I wasn't.
Did he give you the ick?
100%.
Is that part of it? I can see that being. I can see the feeling there for sure.
It was just like, ew.
Yeah.
And just like, honestly, the performance, like, there was no nuance. I didn't feel like there was any subtext behind anything he was saying. It was just one note the entire time. There's no emotional arc. There's no character arc. We don't watch him really discover anything, at least, like, not even like the name Follies. It just, none of it seems organic, and none of it seems like there's no surprise in his performance. It's very predictable. I didn't like it.
It might be playing into the sort of like extravagant Baz Luhrmann sort of, as you allude to, like sort of like style of like just like big and showy, but not a lot beneath the surface. Yeah, it might be playing into that a little.
Again, I did like the scenes though where he's essentially scamming people.
I wanted more of that.
Yeah, I thought that was a fun element, and that's what I liked. The movie becomes really just, this is an hour in. This amazing set piece that we all were, very entranced by.
It should have ended right there.
Really, really cool. I think you could have a nice falling action after that.
I think it's worth watching this movie just for that scene.
I would agree.
I haven't seen a lot like it in other movies.
But the last 2 hours of the movie essentially becomes a greatest hits piece. That is the first big Follies set in this movie. There are at least 5 more of them. And none of them are even like a quarter as good as this first one.
There's one where it's just like dogs taking like 2 steps forward.
Weird.
Like they're doing a box step.
Right. I'm sure what they were doing is probably taking really popular things that happened in Ziegfeld Follies, re-implementing them for the screen. And again, people were clapping like seals to see the thing that they had seen before.
Well, yeah, like they show Will Rogers, for example. Like they give him a brief little cameo and like...
Yeah, man. Thing I Know is undefeated.
It was kind of... Yeah, they were doing that whole thing.
But yeah, there's really not too much to say about the rest of the movie because it's like, Follies scene. Ziegfeld breaks up with his wife. He meets his new wife. Mm-hmm. There's another Follies scene. He meets Fanny Bryce. There's another Follies scene.
No, literally.
I think with him, there's almost too much infidelity that you can't incorporate all of it. So they scale it way down, and it's much less interesting.
It's realistically very repetitive.
It's repetitive. And you know what? Another thing I didn't like about his performance is, to me, he interacts with everybody in the same exact way. I didn't get womanizer from any of the way he interacted with women. It's like he interacted the same way with Billings, I swear. Like, it was just like no difference.
Yeah. He's a little schmoozy boy.
Yeah. Which is because he had such a reputation, like for decades, even after his death, as being this smooth talking, makes these women feel like they're the only woman in the world, sleeping with all of these women.
But yeah, I think you are correct. It's not a deep role. You really don't get a sense of like his id, really.
Yeah.
It's not like a psychological role. It's very surface level.
Totally.
Like I said, I kind of liked the smooth talking. I think he did that part well, but I can agree with you that it's
one note.
It is one note.
Yeah.
It is one note. Where I think that the actual man himself is probably a little more complicated. But yeah, the rest of the movie is just a whole bunch of follies, a whole bunch of relationship drama, and then it ends with a string of flops. He essentially becomes a crypto bro, right? He's like, I discovered how to trade stocks. You can't lose.
Why did we get stocks? Why did we get the stocks lore and not everything else that Drew was just talking about? That was way more interesting.
I think the stocks lore is actually kind of interesting.
A big part of it too is that like he loses basically everything in the Great Depression.
Okay.
But they don't need to go into that much, and it's him gambling. That's the thing. Is
right.
A big part of his personality. He even talks about like why he was so addicted to gambling is because it's like putting on a show. It's the same sort of relationship where every show he puts on is a gamble. And that's why he likes doing what he does. It's all like part of that like
dopamine.
Exactly.
It's just chasing the win.
And they don't explore that at all. That it's like, oh, he just like wants to take a risk. And now every show is a risk. And, you know, you might be high for a while, but at some point the house starts to win. And it's weird. They also show some of these, they show like the string of shows that aren't doing well. And some of them were notoriously really well received. Like Showboat is the musical. It was like...
Never heard of it.
I actually don't know much
So Showboat, I think this is the one he did in collaboration with Hammerstein. Showboat is a story that depicts the lives of white and black Americans on a showboat, I believe in Mississippi. And it was sort of like American realism through musical theater. And it was kind of like the opposite of the whole Follies, where it was like, it wasn't big and extravagant, it was grounded, it was real, and it was like, allegedly it was both a critical and audiences loved it. It was a success in both realms, and they kind of just like showed it's like, oh yeah, one of his many failures. It's like, historically that is not the case though.
Yeah, it kind of made it seem like after the Follies, all he did was flop. But
yeah, whereas that was actually just like it was an instance of him like exploring a new avenue and like
right.
And he got into other stuff too. He even did film, and you know he
he never touched on any he just never left Broadway.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't do a great job at depicting his late life.
Yeah, he dies.
It's really
just he dies after a conversation with his butler. He sits down in a chair. Also, his old makeup was so bad. It was just
so bad.
Well, it wasn't even makeup. All they did was just make his hair super white.
Which we saw really good old makeup in Cimarron.
Yeah.
I was comparing it to Cimarron. I'm like, this is so lame.
Give me that old man Yance makeup.
Yance.
But he has a scene with his butler where he is sad about his life, and he sits down in his big chair, flashes all of his shows in front of him, and then he has one of the worst death slumps that I've seen.
Oh, so bad.
It was a really bad one. It was like in Dark Knight Rises when Talia al Ghul dies, and then just like in the pantheon of really awful on-screen deaths. He just kind of lifts his head slightly and slumps it down.
I guess that's curtains for Ziegfeld.
Okay, he doesn't say that.
He should have. He should have.
He does say though, I just needed more steps, which is a callback though too. So it is conceptually.
Yes. I couldn't remember what he said. He said something silly.
Yeah, he didn't say something as on the nose as that.
I wish.
Just a little bit on the nose. That's it, and then the movie just literally ends. Which, I mean, ending with the death in a biopic, I think is perfectly fine. But it is just funny. It was such a bad death. And then it's the end.
He drops a flower or something. Yeah. He has a flower in his hand and he drops it on the ground.
Wait, speaking of, I have a fun fact about Ziegfeld.
Do tell.
He was apparently deeply superstitious. And he had a range of peculiar fears. Among them, red roses.
Oh.
Dwarves. And clocks.
Oh, yeah.
Clocks.
Poor guy.
Don't let him watch Project Hail Mary.
So I would say this is a fitting ending, appropriate for one that starts with, quote, suggested by events in his life, because that's how the movie opens.
Does it say that?
It said that, yeah. Not even based, just kind of suggested.
Okay.
We made it up. But, yeah, overall, I wouldn't say it's the worst thing I've watched in this experiment, but I have some thoughts for sure.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag for sure.
But before we get into our thoughts on that specifically, I do have a little bit of Oscar history that I can share.
Yay.
So a big change this year at the 9th Academy Awards. This was the first year with what would become an enduringly important category: supporting actor and supporting actress. Oh, yeah. For the first 7 years of the award, recipients got plaques rather than statuettes because statue metal was expensive, maybe. Academy President Frank Capra of It Happened One Night, and also the winner of Best Director this year, which, like, really sus, to be honest. He won so many times while he was president of the Academy. I'm kind of realizing that. But he instituted a new voting policy to curtail the chaos that came from the last few years of write-ins. There would be a special committee of 50, representation across disciplines. They would set the fixed nomination list. And then final voting would then be across the entire Academy membership, about 12,000 people.
Is this kind of closer to what they do now?
No, now it's everyone, I believe, can
nominate as well.
Nominate. I'm not positive, but I think it's more like that than it is like a committee.
I see.
They've flirted with different ideas around this, and we'll see it fluctuate back and forth. Last interesting fact here: this was the first year where a color film was acknowledged by the Academy.
Ooh.
Yeah. It would be a bit before this new format got a major win, but The Garden of Allah was honored.
Now we're talking.
Honored with a special plaque for its pioneering color cinematography. It wasn't nominated for cinematography. It didn't win cinematography, but it did get a special plaque for pushing the art form forward. It's sort of interesting.
How do you be the first one to introduce color and not win?
It's a really good question, and I don't know. And I don't know if it was the first color movie.
Probably not.
But
no.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, how neat! Here's a special award. But at this ceremony, the Great Ziegfeld took home 3 Oscars: actress, as we have expressed our thoughts on; dance direction, which is an Oscar which no longer exists for obviously a lot of reasons. But I would say it probably deserved dance direction. It sure had 2 hours of dance direction in it.
Yes.
And of course, it won picture.
Wait, what happened? Was there no costume or production design?
No, there wasn't. Maybe production design. I'd have to look at the book again. But if it
in
didn't
it
win
yet?
it at least didn't win production design. Those are the only 3 it won. Yeah. But this year, for Best Picture, it was only up against 9 other nominees. A wonderful show of restraint from the Academy, which had 12 the past few years, which is terrible. But they were up against a wide variety of films. There was an epic Italian romance, Anthony Adverse, to a screwball Get the Parents Back Together musical comedy called Three Smart Girls. Yeah, right?
What?
I know.
Three smart
Three
girls.
smart girls.
3 smart girls.
Yeah.
So it's like a podcast that you would make.
Yeah.
No, literally. Like it feels like Parent
We're
Trap.
3 women in STEM, and
No,
we're
literally.
here.
No, but I think they were like preteens.
Yeah.
So it felt like Parent Trap kind of thing.
That-
I was
gonna
literally
say,
just thinking
Yeah.
about that.
There was a journalism comedy called Libeled Lady. That one also starred William Powell from The Great Ziegfeld. So it's an interesting thing we're seeing in these past few years where the main actors in Best Picture winners were often very exposed in other movies at the
Yeah.
Oscars, and you have to wonder if that played into it in any sort of
There
way.
were like 10 actors back
I
then.
mean, that's part of it, I suppose. Outside of these, there were also a few standard adaptations of stories we know: Romeo and Juliet, A Tale of Two Cities. Mm-hmm. Then there was also San Francisco. That was a Clark Gable-led love triangle.
And it's based in San Francisco?
Yeah,
I'm watching it.
you gotta watch. Dodsworth, one that I found very interesting, about a retired American couple who is drifting apart during their second honeymoon in Europe. It seemed kind of like a dark relationship drama.
Ooh.
And then another biopic was the winner for Best Actor. And this was Paul Muni in The Story of Louis Pasteur.
Oh.
Sorry about the raw milk thing in 2026, my guy. So lastly, you guys are going to love this. This is most funny to me. So this is the movie that Frank Capra won Best Director for this year.
Capricorn's Rise.
Yep. The movie was Mr. Deeds Goes to Town. It's about a small town guy who finds himself the beneficiary of a major media fortune. He moves to the big city of New York, where he finds many people trying to take advantage of him. If this sounds familiar,
Yeah.
it's because it is, and the story was directly remade as Mr. Deeds.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
The 2002 Adam Sandler comedy.
Never seen it.
Yeah.
You'd like it.
Isn't that funny, though?
That's the one with Dylan and Cole Sprouse.
I don't remember. I don't think I've actually seen this one. I just know of it.
I've seen a bit of it.
And I just think it's so funny that this 2002 Adam Sandler movie is an adaptation of a Best Director winning Frank Capra movie from the 1930s.
I believe it.
I have not seen very many movies this year. I wasn't able to watch any of the other nominees, so it's hard for me to say whether or not this was a deserved win. I would wager that there are definitely better movies in the pack, but this reeks of this is the movie of the moment. Like this movie was never gonna lose.
No.
It was about Ziegfeld. It had A-list actors. It had real people playing themselves. It had giant set pieces. That 3 hours long. It was probably giving people exactly what they wanted back then for some reason. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think this one was too big to fail. But I'm sure they could have done better. I think we all agree.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yeah. It's the like stinkiest of Oscar bait. It's like
totally. It's also like opportunistic. Like again, he died 4 years before.
Yes.
Too soon.
Yeah, we gotta pump this out.
Yeah,
now's the time. Because if we made it before he died, we'd have to pay him.
It'd be like if we were making the Regis Philbin movie, like now or something. Like I'm just trying to think of who died recently, or like the Trebek biopic or whatever.
Right. This actually leads me into I don't think your answer would be Regis Philbin, but it leads me into what my brain rot is for this movie is if there was to be a movie like this, if someone major famous was going to die, or taking it back to what you were saying, Drew, about this idea of the impresario, who is the Ziegfeld of our time?
Jerry Bruckheimer?
No. I think I have the perfect answer for this, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts first.
He does Pirates of the Caribbean, National Treasure, Top Gun. Like he's
just like a well-known producer.
He does all the big blockbusters.
Yeah,
that's why I think of him, because it's like he's what the common person wants. It's like
but like people wouldn't know. Jerry
I know that's the thing is I don't think that is a thing anymore.
I actually think it is.
If you say Lin-Manuel Miranda,
I don't. No, that's not who I would say.
There are a couple, I don't know, like what? We're going to make the David Ellison biopic?
Kanye.
Well, you're warmer.
Drake.
So my thought is, I think the Ziegfeld of our time is Jay-Z. And I'm very passionate about that. I would say that you could say Rock Nation is like the Ziegfeld Follies.
You mean like on the business mogul side?
Yeah. Honestly, I think it
would have been Diddy. It would have been womanizer.
Yeah, but Jay-Z,
more like,
I think fits that.
Yeah, but he's also an artist himself. Versus Ziegfeld is more just like, hey, I'm the guy who pulls the strings. I'm the guy who makes it happen.
That's true, but you could argue that Jay-Z making music is like the first hour of this movie, and then the rest of it is him becoming a tastemaker in the world. Like,
but he's good with his money.
I'm not gonna lie. When they make the Jay-Z movie, I do not want to see that half of the movie. I just want to see him making music.
Imagine this.
I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him in the fucking elevator.
But that would be the best scene.
Yeah,
that would be the best scene. Yeah,
with
come on.
Solange.
Yeah,
come on. Becky with the good hair is made for this reinterpretation of this story. What I'm proposing is, instead of showing all of the follies, it shows all of the halftime shows in full order. All of them, no cutting.
Oh my.
But that's why I think it works. I think Jay-Z, he's known. He is really shaping that culture in a way that I don't think anyone is really doing now. I think I do agree that it's hard to say that there really is anyone like that today because we have so much less of a monoculture than we did in 1930s.
Yeah.
But I think something like this is about as close to it as we could possibly get.
I'm not all the way convinced, but stand your ground.
I feel very strongly
Here's the thing.
this.
I think Kanye is way more talented than Ziegfeld, but I do think...
Whoa. We're not getting into the GOAT debate yet.
Hold
on. We're about to play King of the Hill. Kanye or Ziegfeld?
Okay, well, here's the thing: is Kanye has influenced fashion, especially women's fashion, way more than like Jay-Z has.
I think Kanye is also a similarly good choice for this sort of...
Kanye's a 3-hour movie for sure.
Yeah.
He's at least a 3-hour movie.
Here's also part of the problem. Something like this would never exist anymore because they would just make it a miniseries.
Yes.
Ew.
It's true, though.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well,
You
we still
can't
do
do-
the biopics,
I
but they're
guess
all
so.
for like
Michael out April 24th.
they're all for people who died a long time ago, and they're like for our parents to go see. You know, it's a different story though because you're talking about someone like Ziegfeld is not the artist; he is the businessman. He's the like.
Again, I would posit that Jay-Z is now more like that in this, like in the majority of his career at this point.
Yeah.
Yes, he did 444, but he is now known more as a businessman.
Yeah.
Than as he is more of an impresario than he is a musician.
I guess, but it's more like this idea of like this. Now it's time to meet the man behind the stars, or whatever. Like the man who found Will Rogers, the man who found Fannie Mae, like
the man who found Rihanna.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. No. It
Come
honestly,
at me.
No. If anyone, this is more like Birdman. This is a Birdman.
Oh my god.
Because he's not exact. I would not call Birdman a musician.
I think okay, here's my problem with what you are. I think Ziegfeld was so big back then, much bigger than Birdman is.
I know. I'm joking.
People,
Don't ever make a fucking Birdman movie, please.
You could call it Stuntin' Like My Daddy.
Yeah, they will. When they make the Lil Wayne biopic,
100%.
Stuntin' Like My Daddy, and it'll be about him and his complicated relationship with Birdman.
Totally. Anyway, that is my take, and I will continue to stand by it.
Sure.
I'll stand by you.
I'm thinking more like a Shonda Rhimes is like.
Well, actually, Shonda Rhimes or Tyler Perry was also who I was thinking.
That's more like in the like business mogul behind the
totally
behind the scenes.
I think you're disrespecting Jay-Z's talent as a businessman. He's not a businessman. He's a business man.
Whatever. I've never had Ace of Spades. Sorry.
What is that? Is that like his drink?
That's the champagne from ages ago that he promoted.
Gotcha. Then it's just 50 Cent.
50 Cent.
Well, what is his?
The vitamin water. It's about.
No, he had a Le Chemin du Roi. That's like his
What?
champagne.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, his big thing was vitamin water. He got in on that.
He's probably made a lot of money.
Yeah. No, where he makes most of his money.
And now he spends his time.
Trolling Diddy.
Yeah. Which, I mean,
others.
honestly, like.
That's his billings.
That's
his billings is Diddy.
He's a great A hater. And you know what? There are few better people to be a dedicated hater to than Diddy.
Yeah.
We've just become a different podcast now. We're like, what is it? Like, God, I can't think of it. But we're just those music podcasts now. Where it's like two dudes in their basement going, who's the GOAT? Who's the GOAT? Was it NFR? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Yeah.
All right.
NFR.
We can get back to movies now with our final rating and verdict. My take is, I think there is, potentially is the keyword, a good hour and 40 to 2 hour movie buried in here somewhere.
Totally.
I think even if you cut it down in its current form, I don't think it would be a great movie even at that time, but I think you could dig into things and make it a good movie.
Totally.
I think there is something in here that is compelling and interesting, but it never really got there. Peaked an hour in. I remember writing down at an hour 15, it's starting to lose me. And then it never got me back because it just kept being follies. He broke up with his wife. Follies.
Yeah.
I really do like that pretty girl scene, though.
I know, it's so magnificent.
So I think I'm at 2.5.
Agreed. 2.5.
I'm gonna give it a 2.
I think that's reasonable.
The acting really took me out of it.
And I think that's probably the difference. The acting, at the very least, didn't bother me.
It really bothered me, the acting.
What bothers me the most is just learning more about Ziegfeld after the fact. I mean, I was maybe thinking like, yeah, this feels like a 3, maybe like a light 3 to me.
Yeah.
But the more I've learned about Ziegfeld, the more I've gone, why wasn't this in the movie? Why wasn't that in the movie? Why did they, they really took their liberties in a way that just,
And it was not even to like protect his legacy or anything in that way.
He had
could have
the
been more
reputation
interesting.
already. Yeah. People
Could have been
wanted
more
that. They liked the
interesting
lurid stuff. He probably would have liked that was...
Totally.
You know? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, it's 2.5 just for the pretty girl scene.
I think that...
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that's totally fair.
It's so good that it's like, the rest of it is just...
I think it's an easy 2 without that scene.
Yeah.
Disagree.
But yeah, it was like a 1 or 1.5 for you.
Yeah.
Fair. But yeah, I could have hated it more. Have hated other things more.
Mm-hmm. I will always hate the Broadway Melody.
Yeah.
The most.
I think this fits very well in this like cavalcade range.
Okay, yeah.
Where it's like, okay, this is mid. And I think like on average it's going to end up probably in the bottom third of these movies, I would guess. But overall, it's not terrible.
There's good stuff in there.
But it just is kind of like event 1, event 2, thing 3, just moving.
That's a biopic.
No, but there was nothing in between it. There was
Right.
nothing in between it.
Right. I mean, this would be truly as if Elvis had won Best Picture a few years ago.
Really is.
I should have won Best Picture, Mama.
Mama, I lost the Oscar to Brendan Fraser, Mama. I'm bad. Okay. I wonder if he's gonna be in the discussion Jafar Jackson this year.
Yeah, we got a little, and we'll see.
It just depends on how good that movie is,
Yeah.
which we'll see.
Yeah,
Again,
okay.
we don't know.
Yeah, okay, Annie. Go ahead.
Anyway, hopefully by next week, Drew has gotten all of his Michael Jackson impressions out of his system.
And we're still gonna keep.
We're doing another biopic. So.
We are in fact staying in the realm of the biopic, not a musical one, but it is The Life of Émile Zola, about a French novelist, specifically his involvement with fighting injustice in the Dreyfus Affair, which sounds suspiciously like something Drew will tell us all about next time.
Oh, great. I got my work cut out for me.